Some of my students get confused about when to use the past simple and when to use present perfect during the IELTS Task 1 writing. So I put together this little tutorial to try to help dispel some of that confusion. Let's take a look at a graph. Pretty simple graph here. As you can see, total snowboard sales. And as you can see, the trend here is definitely going up. It starts in 2004 and it goes to 2009. In this case, we could use the past simple or the present perfect to write a sentence about this particular trend. We could say total snowboard sales increased dramatically, or we could say total snowboard sales have increased dramatically. There is an important distinction though. If we're using the past simple to talk about, then we're talking about actions that were completed in the past. I took a test yesterday. When we use the present perfect, we use the present perfect to refer to a period of time that began in the past and has continued to the present. I have studied English for 5 years. I have studied English since 2005. Both past simple and present perfect are acceptable in this case, although they emphasize different aspects of the graph. Using the past simple gives us a clear endpoint to the trend and emphasizes that it occurred in the past. Using the present perfect emphasizes that this is a recent trend that is probably still true now. Let's take a look at some of these sentences in some more detail. If we were talking about the total sales of snowboards and we wanted to use the past simple, we probably need to indicate when this happened. So we could say the total sales of snowboards increased dramatically between 2004 and 2009. Or total sales of snowboards increased dramatically over a period of 5 years starting in 2004. In both cases, we're describing a trend that had a clear endpoint in the past. Now, looking at the present perfect, we might want to add something like the starting point. Total sales of snowboards have increased dramatically since 2004. Here, there is no endpoint being described in this case. The trend began in the past and has continued to the present. 2009 is recent enough to allow us to assume the general trend has continued up till now. Let's take a look at a slightly different graph. We're still talking about total snowboard sales, but in this case the graph goes from 1994 to 1999. Here we definitely want to use the past simple. Use the past simple for a period of time that ended in the distant past. If the endpoint of the trend is 1997, we cannot generalize what the trend might be in 2010, so we cannot use the present perfect. Total snowboard sales increased dramatically from 1994 to 1999. This sentence works for this graph, but total snowboard sales have increased dramatically since 1994 would not work since this graph does not take us up to the present time. One more point. Do not use the past perfect. Do not use the past perfect for trends that ended in the distant past. Total sales of snowboards had increased. This doesn't really make sense when we're talking about a graph describing a trend. We use the past perfect to indicate that an event occurred before an event in the past, particularly when there is a possibility of confusion. I asked my friend about Africa because he had lived there. In this case, my friend does not live in Africa anymore. I asked him about Africa after he moved away from it. I've just given you this example to remind you that the past perfect is not really suitable when we're dealing with the Task 1 writing in IELTS. If you found this tutorial at all useful, you might consider coming by and checking out my website. At CK English Language Services, we can help you with test preparation like IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, Cambridge tests, GMAT, improve your speaking ability, be it for business English or for just general speaking skills, and also editing. If you have essays or any kinds of documents that you need correcting or improved, just stop by and see if we can't help you. Here's the website. Thanks very much.